Court is now in session with the Honorable Judges of Lycoming County. You be seated. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this special session of court. We are here for Law Day of 2016, and I will turn things over to Christian Fry.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Christian Fry. I am the chairman of the Lycoming Law Association Law Day Committee. I'd like to welcome you all to Lycoming County's annual Law Day ceremony. Just very briefly, I want to give you a little bit of history about Law Day. Law Day was started by President Eisenhower in 1958. He declared May 1st to be Law Day across the nation. And here in Lycoming County, we try to celebrate it by having an art and essay contest throughout the county, open to all students in the county, whether they be in public school, private school, homeschooled, etc. And we always get a huge number of submissions, and they're always very creative, and we enjoy going through them and choosing the winners, which we are going to present to you here today. So, our subject, our topic for this year for Law Day is Miranda More Than Words. And Miranda refers to, I guess in the most practical sense, the Miranda warnings that we all see on TV and in the movies that the police give to individuals when they arrest them. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, etc. That warning is indeed printed on the back of your program, and you will hear it probably multiple times today throughout the presentation of the winning entries. So, but Miranda, beyond just the name of the warnings, it does derive from a specific U.S. Supreme Court case from 1966, Miranda versus the United States, or Miranda versus Arizona, I apologize. And so that formed the crux of those warnings that the police give to arrested individuals, and that still alive and a very integral part of our criminal justice system today. So, with that said, we'd like to start with our Law Day singers who are going to sing the national anthem for us. Come on over. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Did he say this is the 12th year they've done it?
12th year.
Okay, just let me point out to everyone that this is the 12th year in a row that we've had our Law Day singers, and two of them are actually members of our local bar association, the two that have hung out here at the end, Ben Landon and Craig Harris. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, thank you very much to the Law Day singers. I'm going to introduce now John Petrovito, who will present the awards for the mock trial team. It's the Montoursville area mock trial team, which I believe also happens to be the only mock trial team that we have in the county. Is that correct? All right, very good. Mr. Vito.
Thank you, Christian. Unfortunately, what Christian said is correct. We only had one Lycoming County school participate this year. I wish we had a dozen or so, but it didn't work out that way. In any event, we are here, as Christian said, or I'm here, to recognize the Montoursville High School mock trial team. For those of you that don't know what mock trial is, I'm going to give you a very short explanation, I promise, short. Each year, the Pennsylvania Bar Association and the Young Lawyers Division of the PBA get together and they sponsor a mock trial competition in which high school students from all across Pennsylvania participate. They put together a team. The team each team consists of 3 students who act as attorneys, 3 students who act as witnesses, and they are given written materials. They read and study those written materials. Then they come into a courtroom such as this, and they compete against another high school by the attorneys calling the witnesses to testify. And at the conclusion of the witnesses testifying for each team, jurors, who are usually attorneys and paralegals from Lycoming County, score them. And at the end, one team is the winner. One team, unfortunately, is the loser. But I will tell you that having served as a juror for more years than I care to count, both teams do a very, very good job. So having told you what has occurred, I'm told that the participation in this event by the Montoursville students is low, and it's because of timing of this event. And I hope I get this right, but I'm told that since tomorrow is Montoursville High School's prom, today is what I've been told is senior skip day. So since they've skipped school, it appears that they're skipping this event as well, and that's unfortunate. But we do want to recognize all the members of the team, and I know that we are very happy to have the teacher advisor, who is Susan Earle. She is present and was able to make it today, and Christine Waltz, who was the attorney advisor for the team. And we're very, very happy to have one of the students, and that is Hunter Day. He was able to attend today's event. Now I believe, are they here?
Yeah, those are yours.
Okay. All right. I am going to ask, I guess, Ms. Earle to come forward and accept. We have a certificate of participation for each of the students. And I'm going to read their names off and then hand the awards to Ms. Earle. First is Ryan Prince. Now, is he a senior?
Senior.
Or senior, okay. Lucky guess. Hannah Anderson.
Junior. Junior, senior, prom.
Okay. Asher Wren. Ooh, that was. Maddie Myers. We'll have to take attendance the next day. Samantha Klementovich. Well, apparently the freshmen are following the seniors. Courtney Phillips.
Senior.
Miranda Garwood. Hope I got that right. Okay. Sierra France. Sarah Marquardt. Maddie Probst. Now, we also have awards for a few of the students here, and these are a little different. We have, in each of those competitions that I mentioned, at the end of the competition, the opposing team selects a student from the other team who did the best job as an attorney, or the best job as a witness. So your competitor says you were the best from the other team. And in this particular situation from Montoursville, we have Daxton Silver, who was awarded the Best Witness Award from the opposing team that particular day. So I'm going to give that to Ms. Earl as well. And we have Jillian O'Connor, who was the Best Advocate or Best Attorney, selected by the opposing team. And we have actually 2 awards. And I'm going to ask Hunter to come forward. Hunter was selected as the Best Attorney in one of the competitions, and he was selected as a Best Witness in one of the other competitions. So it appears that Hunter knows how to do both sides of that very well. And we're going to give him both of those plaques, and congratulations. And thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to take a moment to identify and thank the members of the Law Day Committee. We do receive an incredible number of entries, and without a team effort here of multiple people to go through them all, it's quite a time-consuming process, but it wouldn't be possible without all of the volunteers that we have. So I'd like to thank first Judge McCoy, who is on our committee, attorneys, some of whom are here and some are not, I believe, but Tammy Taylor, Dave Wilk, Kurt Schmidt, Megan Young, Robert Cronin, Doug Engelman, John Petrovito, and Julie Steinbacher. And then we also have a number of paralegals who have helped us as well. Jen West, Rochelle Horning, Rebecca Hovenstein, Stephanie Tempesco, and Nicole Oler. So thank you very much to all the members of the committee. I'd like to now turn it over to our Lycoming County Commissioners who have a proclamation to present today. We have Jack McKernan and Tony Masser.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to be here. I'm Jack McKernan, the current chair of the County Commissioners. And this is my first law day. And I want to congratulate Montoursville for being involved. I can't believe that the other school districts, they always seem to be up for a competitive bout with each other. So hopefully next year we can get some more competition from the other school districts. I do have a proclamation to read on behalf of the commissioners. And also I want to say that Commissioner Marabito did intend to be here this afternoon, but he had a family issue he had to attend to. The proclamation reads, whereas Law Day, first held in 1958, was established in the United States and to exemplify the merits of our court system. And whereas Law Day affords citizens the opportunity to reflect on our country's judicial system, a system that provides a forum for the peaceable resolution of disputes among citizens, permits citizens to obtain indemnification of their grievances, even grievances against the government itself, and provides extensive protection to the defendant to protect against the possibility of unjust imprisonment by an overzealous government, a system which seems preferable to an unchecked government which cannot be held to account. And whereas Law Day is observed in our community with activities which include honoring Law Day essay and art winners, presentations by local government officials and judicial representatives, and celebrations of our court system. Now, therefore, the Board of Commissioners of the County of Lycoming proclaim Friday, May 6, 2016, as Law Day in the County of Lycoming, and encourage citizens to recognize the advantages of our judicial system and to support all those who are intricately involved in our court system and who strive toward justice for all. Signed, Jack McKernan, Tony Macera, and Rick Marabito.
All the participants that are the award winners, could you raise your hand so we could recognize you? Okay, you did a fantastic job, and I can't wait to hear some of the essays. But I would say this to you. This may be the catalyst that bring you into a career of law. And we have some defense attorneys here that would tell you, keep your mouth shut. Okay? And we have some prosecutors here that would say, hey, come on, it's okay. All right? But up there are the judges. And unfortunately, law isn't black and white. It's gray. So I'm sure with some of the essays that I'm about ready to hear that you're going to be pretty intelligent. And what you wrote is something that could probably save someone from maybe being incarcerated or having the law work against you. So I want to again thank you for participating, and I'm looking forward to this event.
All right, thank you very much, Commissioners. I'm next going to turn it over to Robert Cronin. He is this year's president of the Lycoming Law Association, and he has a presentation to make to the court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honors, may it please the court. This year, the idea behind Law Day is the right to remain silent. I was recently approached by some law enforcement officers who believed that this was a negative topic, a negative presentation, because they believed that this was promoting a negative attitude towards law enforcement. The intent behind Law Day is not to disassociate people with the criminal justice system. It's not to make them not happy or to not participate with law enforcement. Instead, Law Day is a time to recognize all participants in the criminal justice system. Law Day's intent is to educate and enhance the profession of the law. As president of the Lycoming Law Association, it's my duty and the Law Association's duty to promote the positive image of the profession. Today, I would like to present a composite photo to the courts and to the courthouse, and I would like to present that to recognize all the members of the Lycoming Law Association and their contribution to our court system.
I hope he was here for the picture. I can't tell from him. Oh, that's right, they did, yeah.
So, Your Honors, I would like to present this composite photo, which is a recognition of all the attorneys who are members of the Lycoming County Bar Association and those who practice before the bench and bar here in Lycoming County. This was the composite photo dated from year 2015 and was framed and provided to the court through the Lycoming Law Association. Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Cronin. It's my understanding that the composite photo will hang here in the courthouse. I'm not sure if we know exactly.
We usually put it on the second floor.
So on the second
assuming
floor
that's
here.
where it'll go.
Very good. Thank you. All right, well, let's get started with the presentation of our awards. So we'll start with the Law Day essay winners. Do we have Sophia Gardner here? Want to come on up?
Must be Scott's granddaughter, 'cause he's here. Dudley. Must be Scott's granddaughter.
Celebrating 50 years of the Miranda rights. This year, 2016, signifies the 50th anniversary of the Miranda rights, in which was enacted because a man by the name of Ernesto Miranda was accused of a crime that he confessed to during interrogation, but later recanted that confession. With the help of the Civil Rights Union, the Supreme Court overturned his conviction. Because of the acts of the Miranda and the Civil Rights Union, the United States citizens now have rights when arrested and accused of crime. Even though Miranda was retried and convicted again, his appeal to his first conviction established rights for Americans when they are arrested. When it comes to the Miranda rights, I would not eliminate or change anything, but I would add that a lawyer should be required to be present and represent the suspect during interrogation. Although I would keep the Miranda rights the same without eliminating or changing anything, I would add a right that states after a suspect is arrested and they are interrogated by the police, a lawyer for the accused suspect should be required to be present during questioning. If no lawyer is present, then no questioning should take place. As it states in the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless a presentment or indictment of a grand jury. The Miranda rights were created and protected the accused suspect's Fifth Amendment, which is that a person has the right to refuse to answer questions that would incriminate him or herself. For example, this is especially important for young people accused of crime. They may not understand their rights or be nervous and afraid and say something during interrogation that is not true. Lawyers should be required to be present during interrogation of a suspect for the suspect's benefit. It is very important for the accused to fully comprehend their legal rights in order to be tried in the most fair manner. In addition, the Fifth Amendment can actually be detrimental to a person when being interrogated. Therefore, an attorney should be required to be present during questioning. The First Amendment in the United States Constitution allows Americans freedom of speech, which benefits us in many ways. However, when it comes to the freedom of speech, when a suspect is being questioned, his or her own words can be used against them later in court. It is vital to know and fully comprehend what the phrase freedom of speech means. The Miranda rights are important because it helps to protect our constitutional rights. Therefore, every part of the Miranda warning should always remain in act indefinitely. As it says in the Sixth Amendment, any suspect has the right to the assistance of counsel for their defense, meaning the person in custody has the right to have an attorney defend them. The Sixth Amendment is important to uphold the Miranda rights because it guarantees the suspect's right to legal counsel the entire time the accused is being held because they are not innocent until proven guilty. The Fifth and Sixth Amendment of the Constitution supports every part of the Miranda rights, and as long as everyone in the United States follows the Constitution, the Miranda rights should stay a part of our law. All in all, the Miranda rights play an important role in the lives of United States citizens. Everything that is included in the Miranda rights is important because without these rights, we would not have the many freedoms we do today. We, as Americans, are fortunate to live in a society where certain rights, like the Fifth and Sixth Amendment, are protected by the Constitution. The Miranda rights protects the suspect's right to remain innocent until proven guilty in a court of law by allowing the accused the right to remain silent. Because of the violation of one man's Fifth and Sixth Amendments, the citizens of the United States can celebrate 50 years of protection of our most precious constitutional right, freedom.
Okay, and just so you all are aware, for each winner, we're giving them a certificate and their respective cash prize. So the next essay winner is Emma Strickland, and she was not able to be here with us today. She was a 5th grade student from Schick Elementary, and we'll make sure that we get her certificate and prize to her. We have Jordan Kelly, 10th grader from Williamsport.
Imagine a world where Americans don't have Miranda rights. A suspected criminal is arrested and pulled into the police station. When asked if he did the crime, he responds with a simple, "Yes, I did." It's done, the case is solved, and the streets are one man closer to being completely clean. Life is good, and people can walk home at night feeling a little bit more secure. The next day, another suspected criminal is brought in, and she's a 12-year-old girl. She doesn't live in the best neighborhood, and her single mother struggles to pay the bills each month. She can't afford a lawyer because there are no Miranda rights. She doesn't get one at all. She's found guilty in court, and the police put her away. They pat themselves on the back for a job well done, but the criminal who committed the crime and pinned it on the 12-year-old girl because he knew she couldn't defend herself is still out there. So when presented with the question, what suggestions do you have to keep, change, eliminate, or add to these Miranda rights, I would say nothing. A world without Miranda rights would be corrupt, and many guilty criminals would run free time and time again. These rights were created back before my great-great-great-great-grandparents lived. So why should I have the authority to change them? Some people might argue that the system is already corrupt and that too many dirty criminals already walk free, but is that truly a problem that lies within the Miranda rights? If changes were to be made, I don't think that any one person should have complete authority over the modifications, because who has the right to play God to an entire country like that? We've existed as a nation for more than 2 centuries with these rights. Granted, they weren't always called Miranda rights, and no changes have been made so far. Yes, there have been cases of injustice and prejudice, but how would anyone propose that we solve that problem? I believe that the problem lies in the execution, not in the Miranda rights themselves. If we strictly abide by the laws that our forefathers wrote for us in the Constitution, there is no reason why the Miranda rights should be altered. The Miranda rights are composed of the 5th and 6th Amendments. The most essential aspects are this: you have the right to remain silent, the right to speak with a lawyer and have a lawyer with you during interrogation. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you. The Miranda rights protect innocent citizens against false accusations. I myself am an innocent citizen. If the police burst into my first period classroom tomorrow and accuse me of a crime, that accusation will be entirely false. I would trust that the police had some evidence for accusing me, because they can't just pick a criminal out of a crowd by looking at them. However, I would want a lawyer present with me during the interrogation, even though I know that I am innocent, because I don't know the law as well as someone who has dedicated their life to studying it. Now, hopefully, if the situations were reversed and I was guilty, the lawyer would not be able to prove something that wasn't true and justice would be served. In conclusion, I truly believe that the Miranda rights should be left alone just the way they are. If we were to forfeit any of these rights to the government, isn't that just the same as giving up our freedom of speech or religion? In some cases, I believe that the right to remain silent might be just as important as freedom of speech. By submitting our Miranda rights, the hypothetical situation mentioned earlier becomes the sad truth. By submitting, that innocent little girl's family can't afford a lawyer, and the law enforcement already thinks that she is guilty, so they put the wrong person away. The legacy of every parent and grandparent should be to leave behind a world that they want their children to grow up in. So why surrender something that could potentially protect your innocent children from unlawful accusations? The Miranda rights should be left just the way they are.
All right, next we have Terrence Kepner. Terrence is a 4th grade student from Leiter Elementary School. Speak right into the mic.
Someone who is arrested has the constitutional right to remain silent. This is important because if you say anything wrong, it can be used against you in court. When someone is arrested, the police officer reads them their rights, which is called Miranda rights. The police officer will ask you questions, but you have the right to answer them or ask for a lawyer. If you ask for a lawyer, the police officer cannot ask you any more questions. He must then wait until you are with your lawyer before he can proceed. Whether you are guilty or innocent, you are entitled to a lawyer or a public defender if you cannot afford to pay someone. Someone may not be guilty of what they were arrested for or what they are being accused of, and they may want to answer questions because they know they didn't do it. But it could go wrong because after being questioned for many hours, you give a false confession. So now you are charged and arrested for a crime you did not commit because you didn't remain silent. Once you choose to not remain silent, you will have a much harder time in court trying to plead you're innocent. My opinion is you should remain silent until you have proper counsel. Once you have your lawyer present and you have the time to speak to him, then he goes to work for you. Your lawyer will advise on what questions to answer and what you should or shouldn't say. When you choose to remain silent until you are appointed to a lawyer, your lawyer then tries to work out a plea deal on your behalf. It is everyone's constitutional right to remain silent until they have a lawyer present. I feel it will be in that person's best interest to wait for a lawyer before they start to talk.
Okay, and we have Sharon Engel. Sharon is a 10th grade student from Williamsport High School and was our overall winner in the entire contest.
The Miranda rights are more than just words. They're a vital provision of the American justice system. Not only do the Miranda rights protect citizens from abuse of government, but they also ensure the due process of law be followed for all Americans, and they work to create a heightened sense of political awareness among citizens. For these reasons and many more, the Miranda rights established in 1966 must not be eliminated or disregarded, but be upheld and adhered to. The Miranda rights are indeed one of the most valuable aspects of the United States justice system because they work to protect American citizens from abuses of government power. One can understand how important restrictions on government are by looking at such restrictions that the founders put in place when writing the Constitution. The systems of checks and balances and federalism were enacted to ensure branches and levels of government are unified enough to function cooperatively, yet separate enough to remain just in the case of another's corruption, as well as to check the power of those other branches in hopes of preventing such corruption. Given just a few examples of the founders' provisions to prevent abuse of government, one can understand that the founders intended for them to be needed and thus utilized, because no government is perfect. The possession of power will, without failure, be abused at some point. Therefore, since the American government is one for, by, and of the people, it is only logical to ensure that said people are treated as such. The Miranda warning, when followed, protects citizens from an abuse of government because it forces law enforcement officers to directly address a citizen's rights, thus giving no excuse whatsoever for violating them. If officers didn't need to inform citizens of their Miranda rights, they would undoubtedly take advantage of that citizen's ignorance and violate their rights simply because that citizen would be incapable of questioning them. Thus, one important reason the Miranda rights must be kept is that they protect citizens from abuses of government power. As the Miranda warning protects citizens from abuse of authorities, it also ensures that each citizen be granted the due process of law. The 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution ensures that no person shall be denied life, liberty, or property without due process of law. If the first step of this due process, the reading of rights, is followed, citizens under arrest are automatically on the proper track to the correct process. As it is the police officer's and court's job to prove a person guilty, it is an officer's job to notify a person of their rights. As a person is innocent until proven otherwise, they should be assumed ignorant of their rights until they're adequately informed of them. Once this first step of reading the Miranda warning is followed, the rest of due process can take place legally because the citizen now has no reason to not understand their protection from self-incrimination and right to have a lawyer. In order to start the steps of due process of law correctly, the Miranda rights must be recited and therefore must stay relevant and utilized. In addition to protecting citizens' rights and upholding the Constitution, The presence of the Miranda rights also work to create more informed citizens. In the United States of America, one who does not know their rights hardly has any. The ignorant citizen lives at the mercy of their government, their life depending on its resistance to becoming abusive. As the founders have explained and history has demonstrated, governments are not highly resistant to taking advantage of their power. Thus, a citizen's best defense from being taken advantage of is to know their rights and question the government's action if or when they're being violated. As the Miranda rights are very easy to remember and seen in many places such as movies and television shows, their commonness allows the average person to know the bare minimum of their extension of their rights. In a nation whose stability depends on the cooperation between government and citizen, disputes are typically beneficial as they will keep each side within their proper sphere of power. Therefore, a citizen who knows their rights benefits American society as a whole by being a primary defense and resource in keeping the government in check and maintaining order, justice, and peace. In conclusion, the Miranda rights serve many diverse and vital purposes, such as protecting citizens from abusive governments, ensuring adherence to the Constitution's vow to a due process of law, and being commonplace enough that average citizens understand them and thus become more educated and beneficial to American society. As the Miranda rights protect us and continue to do so, we as citizens must also work to protect them for the sake of justice in the present as well as in the future. Because Miranda rights are more than just words, they are a promise of fairness, justice, and peace.
Okay. We next have, before we get on to the art winner, we have the Chairman's Law Day Award to present. And this award is given to the student that demonstrated an exceptional understanding of the Law Day topic. And this year, that award is going to Juliet Jacques, 10th grader from Williamsport High School. Is Juliet here? I will note that Juliet this is not her first time winning here at Law Day. So, but you want to just tell them a little bit about your artwork there?
So I drew the scales of justice with acrylic paint, and on the right I put rights of the accused, and on the right enforcement of laws, and I put Miranda rights in the middle because they strike a balance between the rights of the accused and protecting innocent citizens from criminals.
Perfect, and I think that pretty much nails the intention of the Miranda warning. So, to that end, there you go. Thank you very much. Okay, so for our art winners, we have Julia Murtis, an 8th grader from McCall Middle School. Tell everybody a little bit about your...
I did my project showing the Miranda rights written through symbols and objects like a feathered pen and a police badge, jail bars and handcuffs, showing different parts of the criminal justice system that the Miranda rights fall into. Then I surrounded it by American flag since it goes towards the American citizens, and in each star of the flag I have the states since it involves each state. And I surrounded the flag with the 5th and 6th Amendment, which are in the Miranda rights, and the Miranda rights as the border.
Next we have Morgan Marty. Morgan is a 10th grade student from Williamsport High School.
More than words. Face forced against the pavement, cheeks pierced with broken glass, arms twisted behind his back, his small dark hands pinched by the metal. No older than 13, blood rushing to his face, dark eyes glassed over, and a Glock 22 pressed to his temple. Call for backup. The sirens roar through the streets. The boy lays blinded by headlights. He was armed. There are two ways for this story to continue. The boy, paralyzed, is thrown into a room. An incandescent light scorches his face. 8 hours go by, and the boy struggles to speak. Why were you armed? Did you point the gun at an officer? Were you trying to kill an officer? Yes, I'm guilty. Attempted manslaughter. The boy is charged as an adult, given 30 years in prison, and is innocent. The boy is ripped off the ground. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. Do you understand these rights? In the interrogation room, a lawyer is present. In court, a lawyer is present. The boy is found innocent. What is the difference between the two endings? The answer, Miranda rights. The boy was given the right to an attorney. The boy was able to tell his side. The boy wasn't forced to admit to the wrong accusation. So why was the boy carrying a loaded gun? The real question is, why would anyone want to live in a world where a 13-year-old is jailed for ripping a gun out of his drunk father's hand before he could shoot his mother? Miranda rights are more than words. They are more than a catchphrase on Law & Order or CSI. They protect our rights and symbolize our liberty. Why change the system if the system holds true?
Annie Rosenau, 10th grade student from Williamsport High School as well.
Okay. My artwork revolves around the idea of protection. I strongly believe in the protection Miranda rights guarantee us. Each of my characters belong to a separate race, gender, or religion, symbolizing the equality Miranda rights create. The fact that there are no mouths on the people in my painting represents your choice to remain silent. The shields in my painting give us, the people, protection for the corruption of the law enforcement. Whether you are female, male, transgender, homosexual, black, white, or even purple, our country must guarantee the freedom of protection and the freedom of equality. In this political season, hopefully Donald Trump will exercise his right to remain silent and Hillary will be read her Miranda rights.
I'd like to elaborate even more on that. Good job.
Okay. Next we have Alice Ravert. Is Alice here? Alice did a video submission, and as I recall, was a winner last year, right? All right, you're getting good at this.
Hi, my name is Alice Ravert. I'm in 2nd grade, and I made a video using iMovie. A couple of my friends and Mrs. Jones helped me do this project. On my video, I explain the Miranda rights.
I think we've got it right up here on the screen.
Do we need to hit the light?
It was a normal day at the Lighter Marketplace until...
Hi there, how are you guys today? Good. Welcome to the Lighter Marketplace. Looks like you're making sundaes today? Yep. Wonder for some ice cream? Alright, let's get your total here. Okay, that would be $4.25. Out of 5, sir. 75 cents. And George. There you go. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Hi there. How are you?
Good.
Okay. Looks like you're making some sundaes too?
No.
Okay. What's your total? I think it's $1.25.
I don't have any money. Give me all your money.
Excuse me?
Give me all your money.
Officer Raver?
You're under against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have them present with you while you're being questioned. If you can't afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed for you. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights. Let's go.
Number 1. You have the right to remain silent. This means the police may read you your Miranda rights. You have the right to not talk to the police. If you do not talk to the police, it does not affect your consequences or punishments. Number 2. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. That means sometimes it's better if you do not talk to the police because you may say something that hurts you without knowing it. Police could be recording you. Your words could be evidence against you. Number 3. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him or her be present with you while you're being questioned. That means everyone has the right not to talk until they have an attorney to help them. You also have the right to have your parents with you. Number 4. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. That means if you don't have enough money to hire an attorney, you still have the right to an attorney and they must give you a lawyer. Number 5. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. This means at any time you could stop talking. It doesn't matter if you already started talking to the police because you can choose to not answer any questions and stay silent.
Order in the court. The matter before us is the people versus Sue McDuffie. Sue McDuffie Accumulator Marketplace.
All right, well done. Alice, here is your certificate and your check, and a check from last year because you didn't cash the one from last year. So, get them both cashed, all right? All right, and finally we have Kira Trice, another 10th grader from Williamsport High School, and she was the overall winner for the art category.
Driving down a dark, curvy road. Lights flash and a cold chill runs through him. For an uneducated man, this is new. The circumstances were grim. He didn't know what to do, more than words. The officer approaches the car. He stands tall and strong. What happens if I don't reply? I haven't done anything wrong, but he is told to step outside, more than words. He was not told of his rights, nor did he commit the crime. Trying to cooperate, he hurt himself. He was placed in jail to serve the time, left to rot on a shelf, more than words.
All right, that concludes our awards presentations. Those are all of our winners for this year. I'd like to give the judges an opportunity to make a few remarks if they'd like.
Okay, first, and Judge Butts will be right back. She's just fixing the speaker system. We're typically a bench of 5 judges. Judge Gray is on vacation today, and Judge Lavecchio's daughter is going to the prom, and he told us many things he had to take care of before she could get to the prom, so that's what he is off doing today. So I will first turn it over to our President Judge, Judge Nancy Butts, for any comments.
Thank you. Once again, it's been a pleasure to have the opportunity to hear and see all the presentations. What I like best is how your individual creativity plays into all your presentations. But most importantly, I, again, as now a parent of an 8th grader, and have conversations about these issues, especially this essay topic that was mentioned in school, how much I appreciate your support of your children who are able to participate in this presentation. They learn so much from you, and for them to be so articulate and creative in explaining what it is that we deal with on a regular basis, I thank you all very much. And teachers too, by the way, and principals, and all those educators that support the students as well. So thank you again for a wonderful Law Day, and the opportunity to decorate the halls with your artwork and your presentations has been great too. So thank you. Thank you.
Judge Anderson?
Yes, I wish to echo what Judge Butts has said. We very much appreciate the input of parents and teachers, and allowing your children to come and participate in this ceremony with us. Just a little bit of an adjunct to the historical perspective of Law Day. Law Day was really pronounced in 1958 as on May 1st. And what Dwight Eisenhower intended to do by creating Law Day was that he intended to create a clear distinction between the United States and the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union, every May 1st, has a large May Day parade. I think it continues till the present time. And it had been an institution in the Soviet Union since World War II. And they bring out all their military hardware, and they go through Red Square, and they celebrate their military might. What Dwight Eisenhower wished to do was he wished to distinguish the United States from a nation that displayed its military might to a nation that lived by the rule of law. And thus, he created Law Day. We like to acknowledge it here in Lycoming County, and we appreciate your involvement in this. And I think today's presentations are a clear example of how important it is, particularly in this particular venue, in this courthouse. And I got to give special kudos to Sharon Engel. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I have to tell you, that was one of the best written essays, perhaps the best written essay that I can remember ever hearing here. It was excellent. I can't believe, I mean, it's hard for me to believe that a 10th grader wrote that essay. I would commend you to perhaps give a seminar to some of the members sitting in the jury box there, because it was very well done. Again, thank you all for coming.
And Judge Anderson, is this possibly your last Law Day?
Yes, possibly it is. But I'll come and sit with the I'll be in the jury box next year.
But we'll miss your historical perspective.
Yeah, we might have to solicit you to do that. I also want to echo what both Judge Butts and Judge Anderson have said. The years that I've sat up here, you always think it's not, how could it get any better than what people have done? And every year there's something new. I think this is the first year we've had poems, which were wonderful. I think it's our second year for videos, and Alice has been our contributor to video, so we're looking forward to next year's submission, wherever she's at. This year's also special to me, and I will first preface this by saying that I did not participate in the judging this year because of this fact, but 6 of the winners are my daughter's 10th grade classmates at the Williamsport High School. A couple of them are pretty good friends of hers, so I'm very happy to see. Then we also have one winner who is a daughter of a member of our bar association, and another winner that I have to guess is maybe a granddaughter of another member of our bar association, so that also makes it a little bit extra special. I do commend to the teachers. I know the reason Williamsport gets such great submission is I think they make it extra credit, which if you can pass it along to your other teachers, it really gets a lot of participation. And even though there are tons and tons to read through, we would happily take more. We need to solicit more people to read them for us. So, but congratulations to everyone, and Christian, we'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, judges. All right, well, that concludes our program tonight.